Hello, this is Ivan Gris, and in this tutorial we're going to continue where we left off and finish configuring our character. Now, if you remember, we imported the character by importing the FBX. Something I forgot to do, otherwise she's not going to be animated, is you have to go to the FBX that we basically imported in the previous tutorial, and make sure this is set to generic by default. Make sure to change it to humanoid and apply. Now, with that set, let's go back to the character here. In the previous one, we configured the face with the audio source, lips and context, morph targets. In this case, we're going to go to the body now. A couple of things. I don't remember if I showed this, but yeah, you set up the animation controller right here. In this case, I only have one, and there's a tutorial about animation managers and basically how these work and how you can create your own. But for now, let's get into her configuration. So remember we set up the tag as agent here. So we're going to add a couple of components. The first one that we're going to add is the agent status manager. Now this one, if you open it, it's basically just going to indicate if the character is speaking, is listening, waiting, in range, moving, or being looked at. So now we're going to configure a lot of stuff. We're going to leave for the end the in range and looked at, because that's a small different module. But basically what these two do is, since you can potentially use this in room scale VR, you may only want to talk to a character once you approach it and you look at it. So that's what these are for. The other ones, it's about what the character is doing by itself. So for now, let's leave the status manager right there. And we're going to add two other interesting components right here. One is going to be emotions, and the other one is going to be personalities. Now these two are just choices here. So for example, you can choose one of the 16 personalities. If you double click this, you'll open the code. There's a link there on what they're based on. And emotions, these are, for example, anticipation, 0 on this scale it's interest, and 100 is vigilance. These emotions are just variables or just values. They have nothing to do with the facial expressions, but you can use these values to check the current emotional state and then play whatever face you want. These are also in other tutorials. So this is the status of the character, and these emotions and personalities are just variables that you set up in the character. Personalities, it's set up at the beginning. Emotions are basically potentially updated throughout the interaction. Now the other components that we need to add are the managers. So so we're going to add the most important ones, which is animation manager, dialogue manager, emote manager, emotion check manager, gaze manager, memory check manager, move manager. And I'm missing one here, which is rotate manager.